Howdy, Ags. Welcome in to the Ag Audible. I am your host, Lee Hillis. And yes, welcome in to the Fanatic Studios. As you saw, we did start off with a tribute to the First Lady of Aggieland herself. Reveille 9 passed away in the early hours of Saturday morning. And so tonight we honor the life and legacy of Reveille 9, whose spirit, loyalty, and pride embodied the very heart of Texas A&M. She will always be remembered as the First Lady of Aggieland and a beloved symbol of the Aggie family. But to bring in our counterpart, class of 2022, Kyle Lovingood. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing good. Here for the Lady of Aggieland. The game this weekend was electric.
Which you were there. I didn't get to see any of it.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Auburn got the ball, the crowd was just getting loud every time. It was electric.
You're going to get kicked out of this. There's a statement that the athletic director at Auburn put out. I don't know if you saw this.
I think I know what you're referencing.
John Cohen, the AD at Auburn, said, after taking a long, hard look at the events that transpired today in College Station, I must express a profound disappointment and, frankly, disbelief at the utterly impossible conditions under which Auburn football was expected to compete. To start, the crowd noise was beyond excessive. It wasn't just loud, it was mean. Our players couldn't hear play calls, their quarterback's cadence, or even their own heartbeat. How are young men supposed to perform when thousands of people are screaming things at them on purpose? At one point, we were fairly certain the sheer volume caused one of our players to forget which way we are going. Then there was the sun with an exclamation point. We practiced had all week, but unfortunately we did not anticipate a giant ball of fire positioned directly above our offensive line's field of vision. It's hard to pick up a blitz when you're being personally attacked by ultraviolet light. Frankly, we feel the sun should have been repositioned or at minimum dimmed. And it didn't stop there. The grass was too green, the wind was too breezy, and the smell of barbecue from the tailgates was so distracting that several of our players reportedly thinking about brisket mid-drive. Even the Texas A&M band played too loud and faster than necessary, which we believe was a deliberate attempt to disrupt our focus. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, are we playing football or are we trying to survive a coordinated assault by Mother Nature, human vocal cords, and marching brass? The integrity of the game demands better.
That's pretty good.
I'm like, joke's on you. We don't stop.
Nope.
We're not going to, so quit asking.
Yeah. Yep. Nope.
A little Nick Saban humor for y'all.
That's funny. That was a good satire.
But the Aggies win their first SEC game of the year against Auburn. Wasn't pretty at all. But I made the statement to somebody, whether it's a win by 35 or a win by 1, a win is a win.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it felt like A&M.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, it just felt like A&M was in control, even though it was a close game the whole time, just because the defense is just playing out of his mind.
And I heard a coach say one time, your wins are not going to be pretty. No win in this league is going to be pretty. So take what you can get.
Yep.
But the Aggies get it done 16-10. So Marcel Reed went 15 of 22, 207, and had the one reception, sacked 4 times. Le'Veon Moss, 21 carries, 139, and a touchdown. Ruben Owens, 3 of 52. Amari Daniels, 14 of 42. Nate Borkacher, 1 for 1. Morrow, 1 for 1. Marcel Reed went backwards, 7 for -23.
Yeah, I didn't realize he got sacked that many times. I remember 2 to 3 of them. I even rewatched the game yesterday, so I remember 2 of them. I remember they're just jumping out at him. Yeah, and we would have had more rushing yards had we not had all those penalties to call a bunch of it back. So, yeah.
But then the stud of the week, KC Concepcion. 7 catches for 113. He was targeted 9 times. So he caught 7 of his 9, which is a great ratio, in my opinion.
Yeah, excellent.
Mario Craver, 4 for 34. Amari Nyblack, 1 for 23. Ashton Bethel Roman, 1 for 18. Terry Bussey, 1 for 9. And Nate Borkacher, 1 for 9. Bussey, 1 for 10. Borkacher, 1 for 9.
Yeah, all those players down there, they only have 1 reception. I think just about every single one of them was like a crucial, like, third down play. Yeah. Yeah.
So the Aggies, I feel like, did what they had to do, even though a lot of it was dealing with self-inflicted, dumb penalties. And of course, I know you listened to the presser today.
Yeah.
By Mike Elko.
Yeah.
Because he was asked, well, how are you going to combat all these penalties? He's like, well, anytime a player gets a penalty, they're going to have them add money to the coaches to Cabo trip.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm like, it's great, but it's not a bad idea. Make them put like $20 per penalty.
Dude, they quickly at this rate have some nice money to put toward the trip.
And then
that's pretty good.
And then Auburn, Jackson Arnold was sacked 5 times, so half of what he got sacked against Oklahoma. But 18 of 33, 125. Cobb 6 for 28, Jackson Arnold 15 for 11, and a touchdown. Alston 2 for 10, and Singleton 1 for 3. So you were there in person. What did you think about Jackson Arnold?
I mean, he was just under pressure the whole game. It was, and if he was free and able to make a play, the pocket was moving. Like they were having to move the pocket to keep him away from harm's way. And as the game progressed, A&M got better and better at stopping that moving pocket when they're trying to get him on the edge of the field. So it was, yeah. I mean, he didn't really impress me at all. He did worse this week than he did, I think, last week against Oklahoma. So I think A&M, I don't know. If we're comparing defenses, A&M played better as a whole, I think, than Oklahoma did, which you hear about Oklahoma every single day. If you're talking about anybody in the SEC and when they're talking about defenses, Oklahoma keeps being brought up every single time.
I'm trying to get this clip of the sack from it was Andrew Monaco's call from inside the booth.
That was a good one. Yeah, he was.
But Singleton was the one who somewhat hurt us. 5 for 56. Frazier 5 for 28. We held Coleman in check. 4 for 18. Cobb 1 for 11. Simmons 2 for 7, and Alston 1 for 5.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
There, Cam Coleman. Cam Coleman, we literally said we have to keep him in check.
They did exactly that. Cam Coleman just wasn't a factor in that game, and when he was and the catches he did make, he was having to turn around and run back towards the quarterback just to get open because he couldn't get open downfield.
And of course, we did everything on our end that we needed to do. So this right here is the side-by-side comparison. If I can ever get to come up, here it comes. Of what they did versus what we did.
Yeah.
And you'll hear this later in the clip from the post-game press conference by Mike Elko. That third down, we held them to 0 and 13.
That's just 0 and 13.
0 for 2 on fourth. We held them to 52 yards on the ground. We held them to 177 altogether.
Defense came to play. I mean, look at that lopsided 4-14 to 177. That's nuts.
But we had time possession 34 minutes, 6 seconds to 25:54.
Almost 10 minutes. Well, not quite, but yeah.
Right there at it. But the way that Mike Monaco called that final play, you know the play I'm talking about, the 103, the fourth down sack on Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, the sandwich
with Dayon Hayes and Damian Sanford.
That was awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Because I got two clips I'm going to show. That one and the Mike Elko clip.
Well, when you talk about that, the stands just erupted. I mean, it was so loud. I mean, you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't talk to somebody next to you. It was crazy.
But so before going into players of the week, I'm going to show the Mike Elko clip from the presser. And then we're going to show the Andrew Monaco fourth down call on the sack of Jackson Arnold. So, Aggies, buckle up.
Does anybody want to ask a question about like us being 4-0 for the first time since 2016, or how did the defense bounce back, or how about you held them to 176 yards on offense and you had 5 sacks and they were 0 for 12 on third down and 0 for 2 on fourth down and you got the return game going again? Like, I don't mean to sound like someone else, but my gosh, will you guys stop being so dreadful and gloomy?
Well, we're only halfway through this.
Yeah. Next one.
That clip right there was classic because that was Mike Elko just trying to break the tension in there. Because, that was a bad game. But the Aggies are 4-0 for the first time since 2016.
Yep, that was what was so exciting, and we got to take the momentum from the Notre Dame game and keep pushing it forward, even though it wasn't as clean and pretty this week.
And if you look at the SEC standings, A&M's
I hadn't even looked at that.
A&M is top 5.
Okay.
And here is the call, the final play, basically, for A&M's defense. The sack of Jackson Arnold from the perspective of Andrew Monaco.
1:03 remaining, 16-10, Texas A&M. 10 on the play clock. Snap to Arnold, 4th and 1. Up the middle, they got him! Ball game! They got him! The defense comes through! Sanford and Hayes! Ball game! A&M!
You can see the emotion there.
And that's what I love about him calling A&M, was you hear the emotion, and right there you saw it.
Yeah, he expresses it, but he's able to contain himself just enough to make it, all flow and make sense.
So if you're looking at overall, there are only 5 undefeated teams in the SEC.
Ooh.
There are 6 in conference play.
We got Vanderbilt, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is 1, Missouri's 2, Vandy 3, OU 4, A&M 5.
Oh, yeah, OU. Okay, yep.
And then if you go by conference play, it's still Ole Miss 1, but you have a 5-way tie for second at 1-0. Missouri, Vandy, Oklahoma, A&M, Bama.
Oh, yeah, Bama's undefeated in conference, yep, even though we lost to Florida State, yeah.
But then you get to the 1-1s, 1 and 2 with LSU, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina. In that order. South Carolina is 1 and 2 in conference play.
Yeah. They wanted to be better than that.
Texas is right there in the middle. They've not played a conference game yet until this weekend. This coming weekend.
Yep.
But then you have 5 teams that are in the basement with not a single conference win. Mississippi State, Arkansas, Florida, Auburn, Kentucky.
Most of those are looking to fire their coach. Or if they didn't have a huge buyout, they would have probably.
And that's something we could talk about at a later time. But players of the game for the Aggies. And you've already seen these. Just don't say who it is, but the biggest shock for you, what was it?
Just how they played as a unit in a group, I think. They played collectively so well.
I think I know where you're talking about. But Offensive Player of the Week, we do not have a single honorable mention this week, but Offensive Player of the Week went to Le'Veon Moss. 21 carries, 139, and a touchdown for the Offensive Player of the Week. But
he would have had more.
Yeah, he should have had more.
Yep.
The second Offensive Player of the Week went to Mr. 113 yards, KC Concepcion. And an interesting stat. Of course, yes, this was his first 100-yard game as an Aggie. But this is only the 5th 100-yard game of his college career.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
but Casey Concepcion, 7 catches for 113.
He was the dog of the week, in my opinion. He came out and he put the offense on his back and said, "Hey, throw it my way. I'll get in the open spaces so you can get it to me."
And then defensively, I went a collective group, the 5-sack crew. Torian York, Deion Hayes, DJ Hicks, Cassius Howell, and Damian Sanford have all taken home Defensive Player of the Week honors.
Yeah, we needed them all. But I think if I were to pick the
just
player,
an individual one.
Yeah, if you were just going to pick one, who would you pick?
I would probably go right there where I think you're going to go and go Torian York.
Exactly. He was
the leader of that defense. The leader of that defense.
Yeah, I mean, he
6 tackles. One of those 6 was assisted.
Yeah, he knew where the play was going. It was like before the play would start, he was already telling the players where the play was going, and then he was making a move to just
to that side.
Shut Auburn. Yeah, to shut Auburn down. Yeah.
So if the play was going to the right, he was sliding that way. But I had to go special teams. Tyler White for the 2nd consecutive time.
He can boot a ball, that's for sure.
His longest punt yesterday was 63 yards, 1 inside the 21 touchback of the 6.
He had one that was short, so he made up for it, getting that average up to 46.
But this is one thing I did want to take a little time and go through was this AP. Let's do a little too high, too low.
Okay.
We're going to go in the top. We're going to start with the top 5. Number 1, Ohio State. 2, Oregon. Miami 3, Ole Miss 4, OU 5. Of those 5, who's too high?
OU, I think, because I just think they just haven't played or been tested enough yet. What about you?
Well, I'm going to say this. Due to my hatred of Lane Kiffin, I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Yeah, they won a good game, though. So, yeah, we'll see.
But I don't think any of those teams right there in that top 5 are too low.
Yeah, I think they're right where they probably should be.
I think Miami, Oregon, and Ohio State are right where they need to be. Ole Miss, I think is too high. OU, I could also go too high.
I agree.
6 through 10, A&M, Penn State, Indiana, Texas, Alabama. I'm going to start with my too low on this one. Even though they lost a very close game, I'm going to go Penn State, I think, is too low.
Yeah, I mean, they lost to Oregon. So if you're going to say that, you have a good argument.
Because Oregon's a good team, so is Penn State. So I think Penn State should be up there at 5.
Yeah.
Too high. I know they're 4-0. I'm probably going to get some flack for this. I think A&M is too high. I think they should be back around 8.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that.
Because I'm going to say something my stepdad was saying today. These guys are going to think they are untouchable because of how high they're ranked. They're going to think that nobody can beat them until it happens.
They've had some ugly games to look at, even though they've won. So let's take the Notre Dame game. They gave up a bunch of yards and stuff on defense. They came back next week, played good defense. This week, they can really focus on the terrible amount of offensive penalties that slowed them down. So they got stuff to focus on. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if what you said is true.
15 or 11 through 15, Texas Tech, Georgia, LSU, Iowa State, and Tennessee. I think all those teams are right where they belong.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I just find it so weird that Bama and Georgia are they're like right in the middle. I don't know. They're usually at the top. So it's just weird.
Yeah. 16 through 20, Vandy, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Missouri, Michigan. I think Florida State is too low.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Well, they lost, but
I would have them up from 14.
I think Missouri is too low for them being. They're 5-0, so like if we're gonna play that game, if you're undefeated, they should be at least pushing top 10.
Yeah, Vandy, too high, too low on Vandy.
I think they're right where they're supposed to be. What about you?
I would probably say I think they should be at least ahead of Tennessee.
Okay.
Like a spot or two. Because if you take the undefeated factor into it.
Right.
But then you hit 21 through 25, Notre Dame, Illinois, BYU, Virginia, and Arizona State. I think Virginia is right where they need to be. They're coming off of a massive win in overtime against a really good Florida State team.
Yeah.
Notre Dame. I heard somebody say, I think A&M pissed off Notre Dame.
You think so?
Because they've scored 50-plus points the last 2 weeks.
They thrashed Arkansas. Man, I feel bad for Sam Pittman.
56-13. BYU, I don't see how they're ranked.
Yeah.
Illinois, I think Illinois should probably flip with Michigan.
Those last four, I honestly, I really don't know where they should sit, but it's interesting. It's interesting mix.
Arizona State, the reason they have Arizona State where they're at is because of Sam Leavitt.
Yeah.
But something was announced today. A&M Florida, possible primetime game. And the throwback unis are coming for the Florida game.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is it's all riding on this game. The game's this weekend. It's either going to be 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 6 p.m., 6:30, or 6:45. So that'll be either ESPN, ABC, or SEC Network, depending on the time.
So A&M win, they get the ESPN or the ABC game, you mean?
So let me pull up the other games that are in competition for that time slot. So, of course, you have A&M Florida. But you also have South Carolina at LSU.
Okay.
And then you have Georgia at Auburn.
Yeah. I don't know how you could compete with A&M Florida, but I think it's the fact that Florida is not doing so hot.
I would take a number 9 A&M over. I would take a number 9 or number 6 A&M over number 12 Georgia or number 13 LSU.
Yeah, I mean we're all in the same ballparks. I would, because the hype around A&M. If A&M wins next week, yeah, this game.
I think if A&M wins next week, they're definitely seeing it there at number 4, number 5, depending on what happens with Ole Miss and Oklahoma.
I would love nothing more to see Oklahoma beat Ole Miss.
Wait, is that the matchup this weekend?
I don't know.
Oklahoma plays Kent State. before going to play the Red River rivalry.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. I remember that now.
And then Ole Miss plays Washington State. So I don't think either of those teams are going to be competition for either of those teams.
Right, I agree.
But I think if A&M wins convincingly against Mississippi State, how do they keep us out of the top 5?
Yeah, Ole Miss has a bye, so they won't be playing again until they do play Washington State week 7. Yep, there we go.
And yeah, they play them this weekend. But I think A&M having a night game against Florida with the throwback unis is sort of classic. And these unis are from 1975, the style is. With the old block letters.
Yeah.
That are spaced out.
Yeah, those are interesting. The T's so big compared to the A and the M on that. I was like, that's interesting.
But, of course, we'll be back here Thursday night to look at some no good, low down, dirty Mississippi State Bulldogs.
They got me just a little nervous after the way they played Tennessee.
Yeah, because the way they played Tennessee, yeah. I feel like Elko and crew, or Elko and company, should have these boys ready, but never overlook a Jeff Levy-led team. Because you saw how explosive he was under Lane Kiffin when he was at Ole Miss.
Jeff Levy's he's been in a few different places, but he's everywhere he's gone. He's had that.
He's a great offensive mind.
Yeah,
nothing compared to the late great Mike Leach.
No,
but
he'll have time to prove it. But we'll see.
Yeah, but Aggies, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thanks, and gig 'em.
Gig 'em.